Welcome back to Libcast, the library podcast, hosted by the Library, University of Kelaniya, Sri Lanka.
Hello, and welcome to Libcast, the library podcast that explores the intersection of information, technology, and learning. You're listening to our Neural Nexus Daily series, where we unpack the latest developments in artificial intelligence and what they mean for us. Today we're tackling a problem that's quietly growing on university campuses across the globe. It's not about access to technology, but about the use of it. A worrying skills gap is emerging among students in their knowledge and use of generative AI. And experts warn this gap risks getting wider, eventually spilling over into the labor market. Insights from the recent 2025 European University Association AI conference reveal a complex picture. So, what's behind this divide? For many students, it's not a lack of interest, but a lack of clarity. Some are afraid to use AI, fearing they might be penalized. They simply don't know what's permissible, or how these powerful tools could genuinely help their studies. Rune Verkorteren, a student at KU Leuven in Belgium, confirmed this at the conference, noting that some students even avoid AI due to ethical concerns, like its climate impact. But this gap isn't just among students. It's also evident among teaching staff. Some faculty prefer to simply ignore Gen AI, while others have wildly different responses. James Mackay, a professor at the European University Cyprus, described a chaotic landscape. He said that before his university implemented guidelines, some lecturers were punishing any student use of AI as simple plagiarism. At the same time, in other classrooms, lecturers were mandating its use. Some were naively trusting flawed AI detection tools, while others were already experimenting with AI-assisted grading. Without a clear institutional framework, you have chaos. And this inconsistency leaves students confused and hesitant. So, how are universities starting to bridge this growing divide? The conference highlighted three distinct approaches. First, let's look at KU Leuven in Belgium, which is taking a structural approach. Policy advisor Roel de Meaux explained their key pillar is tackling the skills gap by investing in AI literacy at all levels of the university. This isn't just for students, it's for professors and even support staff, who are sometimes more skilled with these tools than the academics they assist. To do this, they've assembled committees with all stakeholders to create clear guidelines. They even developed a simple table of information that students can use to check how to use Gen AI safely, honestly, and with academic integrity. The goal is to build a foundation of transparency and responsibility for everyone. Our second example, the European University Cyprus, took a guidelines-first approach. As Professor Mackay explained, the wild variation between departments, from medicine, which was enthusiastic about AI-driven diagnostics, to English literature, where the risk to critical thinking was a major concern, created evident risks. Their solution was a university-wide consultation that resulted in a framework. But importantly, this framework is principle-based, not rigidly prescriptive. It's built on four core principles: human-centered inclusion, data privacy, safety, and communication. This allows different disciplines the flexibility to adapt AI to their specific needs while upholding a shared set of university values. And that brings us to our final, and perhaps most unique, example, the Zurich University of the Arts, or ZHDK. With a focus on creative fields like film, music, and drama, they've adopted a cultural approach. Dr. Suzanne Schumacher, co-chair of the university's Digital Council, explained that they chose not to create a separate, explicit AI strategy. Instead, they are embedding AI competency into their overall institutional culture, which runs on the motto of artistic intelligence. They use living documents, rather than rigid rules, and have an internal network, and an AI forum where tools and knowledge are shared. A recent survey found their students already have a high level of critical awareness about AI's impact and a strong desire for deeper reflection. For ZHDK, AI isn't a separate policy to be managed, but a new element to be woven into the creative and critical fabric of the university itself. So whether the approach is structural, guidelines-based, or cultural, a common theme emerges. The most effective solutions aren't about banning or ignoring AI. They're about creating clarity, fostering critical literacy for everyone, and guiding students on how to use these tools ethically and effectively. To close, I want to leave you with the powerful questions Dr. Schumacher posed at the end of her talk, a call to action for all of us in higher education. She said, "We need to keep asking, why are we using AI? How does it improve our work? And how can AI help us think and act better as humans in higher education?" These are the questions that will help us turn a widening gap into a bridge to a more thoughtful future. That's all the time we have for today on Neural Nexus Daily. Thanks for tuning into Libcast. Join us next time as we continue to explore our rapidly changing world of information.
And that brings us to the end of this episode of Libcast. Thank you so much for tuning in and spending your valuable time with us today. We hope this conversation has sparked your curiosity and given you something new to think about. We're incredibly proud to be Sri Lanka's first ever university library podcast, brought to you by the team here at the Library of the University of Kelaniya. Our goal is to keep bringing you insightful discussions, stories, and knowledge. If you enjoyed this episode, please help us grow by following us. You can find Libcast on all major podcast platforms, including Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Podcast Guru, Podchaser, Amazon Music, and wherever else you get your podcasts. Until next time, keep reading, keep learning, and stay curious.